All right, hello, and welcome to the Pro Bowl. Thankfully, commentated by two people this season. We are graced with the amazing presence of Mr. Reed Option as we get to watch the GFC take on the JFC, the first ever of these two conferences. And as far as my biased belief is, I think this will be finally the year where a Pro Bowl team hosted by San Antonio, or not hosted, but populated with San Antonio players will finally win a Pro Bowl. But I don't know. Mr. Read Option, what are your quick opinions on this
I mean, we're
new Pro
looking at
Bowl?
a pretty lopsided percentage here, 92% with GFC getting predicted only by one of the four experts here with Danny. I'm going with the upset today, he says. And I mean, hey, the All-Star games are always something special, always a thing to behold, whether it's, an unexpected Kreutzer stiff arm or it's, got a running back at quarterback. Never know what to expect with these All-Star games. So I think JFC still comes out on top this time around. I think that with the realignment, you got the undeniable talent on the JFC defense. If you ain't got Christian Grant running at you, you've got Elijah Jennings picking you off. And if not Elijah Jennings, you got Zaire Barrett and Sam Jordan. Of course, you got the plethora of linebackers like Jacob Fraser, Defensive Player of the Year last season. Just a all-around star-studded cast on both rosters, but that JFC defense is going to tear down this GFC offense if they let them get to the quarterback. And, I'm sure that they've already expressed those concerns in the locker room with Mark Jetton. And I'm sure the running backs, Kamani Moore, BJ Austin, Xavier Sheffield, and David Willis Jr. are all ready to get obliterated in the backfield. They'll do their best, I'm sure. Matt Barr at fullback, he has a heavy load to bear with the blocking alongside, of course, all the offensive linemen. So, yeah, JFC, I'm thinking it's going to go their way today. How about you?
You know what? You've convinced me. The 92,
The
the
92%.
overpowered defense of, I mean, like you said. Okay, first of all, you go to Christian Grant, but then you look on the defensive end, and Dre Leathers is staring down your soul. And then you look at the offensive side of it. You've got Joseph Abatangelo, possibly the quarterback of the league, backed up by Ramon Gudin. But then you go to the GFC side, and you've got Kamani Moore, who is this season the better running back, stat-wise. And you've got a really studded offensive line. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the defense for GFC is a little underrated. I'll say that. But at the same time, the JFC basically just picked every top 5 defensive player at each position and said, yeah, we're going to put them on our team. So
Right. Yeah, I'm seeing
I,
a lot of that too.
it's studded. I'm going to say this is going to be a 28-17 game, JFC.
Yeah, I think it could be worse than that. It honestly could be worse than that. So, gonna hop right in here. We got the new uniforms and field provided to us by resident uniform creator and clearly field creator Dino. Just a beautiful sight to behold in the snowy New York landscape. Man, and of course GFC getting the ball first. Wow.
I think you couldn't have asked for a more beautiful cinematic view.
Right.
I mean, this is what Dino does. He makes everything 1,000 times prettier. He's taken us from an 8 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10. This is ridiculous. As more the first carry, and I think we can see exactly why this is potentially the greatest defense ever assembled.
Yeah, and they're looking good while doing it. You got these gradient uniforms on both sides. Got the blue and black on the JFC and the red and white on the GFC. Really brings you back to in the NFL, the early Pro Bowl days. Back when they still cared about the Pro Bowl. You got the dynamically. They just pop. The colors pop. Everything pops on the field, and of course the talent pops as well. So
I will say, GFC gives me hints of Christmas vibes. You know, like
Yeah, I see it.
this would have been a beautiful, beautiful Christmas vibe. But that's okay as play action, and you can't do that with the Pro Bowl. Nobody is fooled by play action.
No,
with
yeah.
these players.
I'm sure both sides are going to try some kind of tricky stuff. You know, looking like a back shoulder pass to BJ Austin, but no dice.
No dice. And, of course, obviously, as a few people, maybe a lot of people may not know, the GFC quarterback is actually Mark Jetton of the Reno Raptors, the expansion team quarterback. So, pretty good start for his first year in the league. And obviously the JFC now will take over with who I honestly think is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And, of course, the second best statistical running back in the league. So we shall see how these two teams play. I think a lot of the stuff that we saw this year, Mr. Reed, is that these teams sort of had a lot of stat. Oh my goodness, Jesus. All right. The nastiest stiff arm followed by 4 men trying to get 1 man down.
Right.
A lot of these teams. What was that?
I was going to say Braylon Myers just happened to be the opportunist there in that huddle of men to get that final tackle.
The one final tackle right there, and I totally forgot Marcellus Walker, the best wide receiver in the league this year, and he is now replaced by Daquan Fowler, who was resurrected from the dead. As that was almost picked off, my goodness, Michaels getting the catch, and now Fowler subbed out, and I mean, Jesus, look at this, it's 2 for 2 for 30, but of course he takes a sack as soon as we hype him up.
And another one by Myers, yeah, Myers.
And Myers, honestly, my goodness, he is popping off. As, oh my goodness, Avatangelo has some wheels on him, and number 13 did not want to block for him. Understandable. But I do think a lot of these players, possibly, I think this might actually be a lot of records that are broken this season in the league. And that was nearly intercepted, but also dropped. Unfortunate. Perfect placement by Avatangelo. And of course, this is reminiscent of his first year in the league. Lots of perfect passes, and then, of course, a drop. So as I go ahead and take a look, I'm trying to find Mr. Myers.
Yeah, I'm looking to...
This man had to get in via some insane stat line because right now it is not sacks. I'm going to say that right now. He is 100% not here for sacks. His Jet, the more tackled after a gain of 2. And I don't even think I realized the punter somehow got a punt inside the 5, despite the ball visually looking like it went inside the end zone. That's just talent. What can I say? And a rare appearance by BJ Austin. My goodness, that's a name we haven't heard for quite a while, at least in terms of absolute sheer dominance. I think he was injured for quite a while during the season, sort of lagging Albuquerque out of a lot of games, and of course that's what allowed Sacramento to go on such a routing, dominant victory. Unfortunately, losing their quarterback and their best defensive player in that performance. And Avatangelo just throwing to Walker. I mean, that might be the deadliest duo in the game right there. If Milwaukee was somehow able to get Walker with Avatangelo, I think we'd see a passing record broken and the receiving record shattered by about 550 yards and a wide open Ellis.
Wow. That's really all you can say at that point is wow. The separation from this wide receiver core is insane.
I mean, he got routed in the next year.
Marcellus Walker, DeMonte Michaels, Shaquan Ellis, Terrence Carroll, Jalen Bragg, Jeremiah Brown, and Daquan Fowler. What a crew at the wide receiver core.
To think Fowler is a backup, by the way. Their backup could potentially be the GFC's starter, which is scary, as jetting over the middle of Holloway, game 10. And Holloway, actually one of the more hidden names I would personally say, as they once again drop back Jetman. My goodness, just the O-line just demolishing. And you may not know exactly who Rashawn Holloway is. Mr. Holloway, Mr. 800 yards, 12 touchdowns on the year, but he was in Omaha, who had a hot start and sort of fell off a little bit there. But Rashawn Holloway, their their number 2 wide receiver, JoJo Stevens, with 1078 on the year with only 8 more catches. And this would be a quarterback run. And did he get it? No, he did not.
I just discovered, I completely forgot. I got all my papers here. Fresno's Keith Hoffman couldn't make it. He was still stuck in Alaska with his family. So Braylon Myers had to attend from Sacramento as a sub-in for Keith Hoffman. So, holidays with all the weather, looks like some snow kept his plane where it was. So Braylon Myers joining us here in New York for the All-Star game.
Showing off. Already. I mean, every Popo, I think we talk about this. Players make plays that it's almost as if they're going to just get an immediate contract extension right after the game. I mean, some of the performances they put up, and it's not even by the All-Star players. It's by players that have great seasons, but they're not recognized as one of the top. And then all of a sudden, going into the next season, it's all eyes are on them, and they potentially have a better season. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at paying an extra $2-3 million that you weren't expecting to, all because they went to the Pro Bowl and shined.
Right, and I think in some cases, you almost feel like you're going to manifest a future team up. Like when you were talking about Marcellus Walker to the Bees. I mean, Milwaukee hasn't been to the chip since season 1, and I think Marcellus Walker would be a huge piece in that puzzle to get them to the championship. And I mean, Raleigh could be in the middle of a rebuild, could be willing to send their franchise player away, and if it's not for this collection of players together, getting to see them and being like, that's a good idea, stuff like that might never happen.
100%. And I mean, with a $22 potential million contract as Glover over the middle for 18 yards on 3rd and 10, Jetton showing off where he's QB1. I mean, I understand the owner for Raleigh really wants to retain Walker, but for $22 million, you could potentially have 6 different players all making an impact, and that was triple coverage there. And Milwaukee could go for broke like San Antonio did this season, get the best players they can, and what better player than the best wide receiver with the best quarterback? I mean, and this is actually the best quarterback for a while. This is not a Kreutzer situation where he pulls off the most insane performance we've ever seen at like 32. This is a young player. I think he's 24 years old, I believe.
Yeah, 24, 25, somewhere around that.
Somewhere around that length. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and look him up. He's actually 25. So he's got 3 years under his belt. And all I can say is he is the quarterback. Jetton off to the left. Oh, bounced off the hands. Incomplete. I think a lot of this is what we're seeing is that Mark Jetton is unfortunately facing the greatest. I mean, this is not even close. It is the greatest secondary we have ever seen demised. And it doesn't matter. Holloway for the touchdown.
Wide receiver 1 for a reason on this squad. Rashawn Holloway, I mean, catching 2 of 5, but catching 2 against this secondary is, enough to write home about.
That's contract worthy. That right there is enough to make a team. If Holloway and Walker were to hit the free agency market, that's enough for every team to go, you know what? I think Walker is the better wide receiver. But catching 2 receptions on that secondary is worth every penny.
Right. It's like the consistency in facing the best defensive back unit of all time. Oh my goodness, for the defensive line unit. Talk about that. Thad Benson.
Benson just making a name for himself every single game. Abitangelo. It's a 3-man front this time. They decided to give him time. I don't know why you would do that. And Marcellus Walker, The snow making him a bit colder, stiffer in the joints, unable to break that one. But, I mean, look at this. 5 for 6 for 107 yards. And now Fowler is in. Back to pass. Abatangelo dumping. Ooh. Stepping off to the left. A close one there. On Fowler back to the sideline. And I think, honestly, if there is a play where Fowler gets let loose, he's just going to look like Walker right down the middle of the end zone, but that won't matter now. Loss of 10. Rashad Elam showing up. 3rd and 20. And Elam recently on the Kings, but now on the Gorgons. An interesting trade nonetheless. Abatangelo, oh my goodness, threading the needle. 24-yarder. 3rd and forever. Doesn't matter.
Got to double team him like Calvin Johnson to even have a chance of defending him. And they got to start doing that on the offensive line against Rashad Elam, honestly.
He blew past the guard and just bulldozed the fullback or running back. I don't even know who that was. And just easily. And again, 3-man rush, but it doesn't matter. Oh, my goodness. At this point, I think Abatangelo's letting them. I think he's trying to
trying to get that 3rd and long situation.
Yeah. So guys, watch this, and he might.
No way. That's wild.
I don't care what anyone says. That man did that on purpose.
Justin Lamar with a walk of shame to the sidelines.
And he's doing it again.
Elam and Thomas both are on the Gorgons. They're just kind of doing this tag me in, tag me out, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Savage duo.
Just the brothers of destruction right now. Collins, hurdle for 12 right there. Gain of 12, 37. And Abatangelo being told probably, all right, calm down. Some players do want to have a catch here. So he went ahead and he dumped it off. I think Abatangelo is going to be one of the nastiest players to have to deal with in the league. As Gooden, oh my goodness, just obliterated by Elam. Elam, 4 tackles, 3 sacks.
Bringing out old reliable.
Hey, 3 points, you're going to need them.
Need every point you can here in this All-Star game. Just a little sidebar. I know you were talking about free agency earlier. A big aspect coming up this season is this is going to be the biggest free agent market we've ever seen. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people watching this are a league owner or a player, a user prospect in the league. A lot of changes are going to be made in this offseason, whether it be major or minor. But I know a lot of players, their contracts are running out. The NAGA is in its infancy compared to some other sim leagues, and this is where things I think are going to start to really get real as far as reshaping what teams are the good ones versus the bad ones. Maybe a little more balancing, maybe a little more parity. Hopefully not, the 4th time out of 6 seasons next time around being Virginia Beach and San Antonio. I'm sure we all love seeing great games, but between 2 different teams, please.
I'll just say this: if we get a Jugan Bowl without San Antonio and VB and it's a blowout, I just want to tell everyone I told you so, and you should enjoy the close games while we've got them.
Right.
But I'll also add, you are right. There's a lot of free agents coming up this off season, and most importantly, a lot of the contract stuff is also being adjusted. We have players asking for more than $3, $4, $5 million. We have a wide receiver, as we mentioned earlier, basket intercepted. My goodness, Sam Jordan. And that was just an easy one for him. 1st and 10 now for the JFC of a driving GFC team stalled. But going back to the free agency, I mean, he's asking for $22 million. He's the greatest wide receiver we've... Oh, my goodness. It's McLeod.
I think that receiver was being targeted right there. I think that was Walker being looked at.
I 100% think that's exactly what that was. Oh, my goodness. Jet off to the left, Holloway. And, man, the GFC... A 92% doesn't matter. 8% is all you need. Just 1%. And they're about to drive. 26 seconds left on the clock. 1st and 10 at 23. 2 timeouts remaining. 4-man rush, and he's going to throw that in the dirt. Interesting decision there. And we'll get back to the free agency talk here soon, but we're here at knocking on the door of the red zone. We're about to enter the second half, jetting off to the end zone, and Holloway. I mean, this man actually might get the biggest contract outside of Walker when he hits free agency.
That whole drive right there, from McLeod's interception to both of Holloway's catches there, that was brought to us by the Omaha Spartans. I mean, soon to be Pottsville, potentially, Spartans. Those players really stepping up here. I'm thinking that might be a team next season to make it all the way. They got a great foundation, a lot of stars, as we can tell. And I think that was just a taste of what they could be.
Absolutely, and JFC just going to let this clock run down. That's an interesting decision. So we're going to go into the second half now. They are not fast enough to snap, and I was right. So, yeah, Rashawn Holloway, he is going to be a free agent. He currently is on target, or he is currently on the hook for $2.23 million. Now, a lot of players are going to be asking for some lower-end contracts. What a lot of people don't remember is that a lot of owners like these players, and a lot of owners will shovel money at these players. Looking at this performance, you have Jet, QB1 of the GFC, best quarterback statistically in the GFC, throwing to Rashawn Holloway, and he is outperforming every other wide receiver in the game right now. He is currently responsible for both scores, and I believe he has not dropped a single pass so far. He's even caught every single target as well. And Adam Tangelo's taking a sack. It's not going to be 3rd and 16. I mean, the JFC can never catch a break, it seems. I mean, my goodness, you get the most super stacked team in the nation, and they still can't do anything. And it doesn't matter because Terrence Carroll's going to catch a 28-yard pass because Adam Tangelo's got an ego the size of New York.
And this defensive back unit for the GFC, I keep seeing new names. JFC, I think we're getting the same ones back in the game, but you just keep seeing plays like this over and over again, whether it's to Fowler, whether it's to Carroll, to Bragg, to Ellis. And this defensive back unit's like, all right, put in Kenny McKenzie. All right, put in Terrell Stanton. Who can stop these guys?
Defensive coordinator's probably throwing the most exotic frontline blitzes you've ever seen, but he's calling a basic play. He's saying, I don't care what you do, just do something. And they're going to go for a rare run here, and it's going to be 3rd and 9. And, I mean, my goodness, the route run tree that DeQuan Fowler put up on that previous play. Something that I think San Antonio would have loved to have, and Fowler again. And this is something that San Antonio showcased a little bit during the season, but again, they went in wanting Gooden to win the Russian title, and Collins is just going to take an L right there, loss of 1. What does a face mask? So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 3, so Riddick, of course, he did a stat, and then immediately did a revoke. Hand off to Collins, and he'll be in for the touchdown.
What a spin move.
I mean, my goodness, he put that man in the spin cycle. He stood no chance. And Fannin Steele, the man who cannot miss, I say, as he will probably miss tomorrow, now that I've cursed him. So that was great. I should have shut my mouth. So as we look over here in the tab of all things, Rashawn Holloway, and I'm weaving my way back into it as the famous meme now. He's asking for $6.17 million, and I can guarantee you that man's going to get $10 million.
Oh, yeah.
And Jetton obliterated, loss of 11, and Christian Grant finally making a statement. Can we talk about, by the way, how this O-line for the GFC is performing extremely well, by the way. I mean, I understand there's, some sacks here and there, but I mean, the defensive line is the best. And they're holding their own.
Yeah, the defensive line and the offensive line battles in this game are far more exciting than I could have anticipated. Also, the GFC running back rotation is a lot more dynamic than I expected it to be. We don't often, we're not going to see all 3 quarterbacks on each side. Luke Johnson and Ryan Davis get to take the day off, given some hot cocoa on the sideline. Same for Graham Hall and Hudson Lowry. Shout out to Graham Hall for the passing yards title. Oh my gosh. And
no.
I was gonna say we might see Hall now. I don't know how hard he just got hit, but the offensive line, defensive line battle, alongside the plethora of running backs that we're seeing in this game, from David Willis Jr. to Xavier Sheffield to B.J. Austin to Kamani Moore, you know, getting really dynamic games, and I think that this is the thing that you only see here in the All-Star game. Seeing all these big stud names, they can all be subbed out for one another and still put up amazing plays like Moore just did right there for a 23-yarder.
And I have to say, I think coordinator for the GFC, whoever this may be, oh my. All right, so Jacob Frazier was going to let him get away with it, and then he pump faked, and then he sacked him. So I don't know if the Raleigh Royals should be concerned about what just occurred there. But, and it won't, oh my goodness, Presley. Oh my goodness, Jetton got obliterated after that pass. Oh my God.
Presley and Clemens, the dynamic duo for Brooklyn, potentially both retiring in the next year or so. Getting some last hoorah action here in the GFC All-Star roster.
And that is also something to realize as Braun's here to tie it up. Here we go, 4th and 7. Kick is up. Kick is good. I mean, not even close to bad. 38-yard field goal. Notch it away. I think before I weave back to the coordinator thing, yeah, Brooklyn, they're all old.
Retirement home in New York.
That whole offense is aging. Clemens is 33. Presley is 29. And their quarterback is 32. Like, they did it off of awareness alone. You can't tell me otherwise. Abatangelo, oh my goodness, good at, like, catching and catching the ball, hiding behind the O-line, and then running up. I mean, that's, I don't think I've ever seen that in my life, and he's finally going to get a first down for the entire day. Marquise Collins now subs in. But whoever is the coordinator for these two teams, GFC is definitely coordinating their butt off. I mean, they're coordinating like they're the injured Lions right now on both sides of the ball.
Just pulling out every trick play.
Every trick play, throwing every player in there. And it's working because JFC's only got 17 points. Brett Meyer with a sighting there. 3rd and 5. I mean, look, if I had to face Joseph Abatangelo and I saw Ramon Boone in the backfield, I too would throw 47 players at him.
Right, using every asset at your disposal, every play in the playbook, you know, trying fakes, play actions.
I'm creating plays that might be illegal on the spot to stop that man.
Well, soon, breaking the fourth wall in Axis 26. I know that we're going to be getting a playmaker. You can create your plays from the ground up based off the formation. We're getting a lot of new types of plays, including RPOs, the hold and releases from receivers. So I'm betting, you know, season 7-ish of the NAGA is. I can't wait for that All-Star game. I mean, we already got the best visuals for the game. We already got these insane rosters, and just imagining the insane plays. I bet some Wildcat flea flickers are going to happen.
I'll tell you this right now. When we get to that Pro Bowl, the entire season, we're going to have every week someone design a play. And that play is going to be put in the Pro Bowl playbook, and a strip sack from JFC recover. Oh, my goodness. Just
Connor Colleen, the center from, well, he's an offensive lineman in general, but from Portland, coming up with the huge recovery. That could have saved the game. That might be the thing that causes the JFC to win, just the quick thinking from the offensive lineman.
And funny enough, even if Abatangelo doesn't get a pass off here for a first down, they can still kick it from here. And it won't matter. Wow. Okay, Benson, just a 4th and 40 sounds good to me, I suppose.
Gotta let John Marston have some room to breathe, you know. Gotta let him kick that as close to the goal line as possible.
1st and 10 at the 20. We were so close to perfection. GFC walking out, and this 92% starting to feel like a 28%. And Jetton this time obliterated, loss of 9. Christian Grant again. Second sack, second tackle, 2nd and 19 at the 11. And Jedden, oh my goodness.
You know, got to get creative, and a 2nd and 19 QB draw is not what you would expect ever in any situation.
Listen, I think if he'd have beat that corner around the defensive lineman, I think they still would have been looking in the backfield.
There it is.
Goodness,
Zaire.
for San Antonio. Wow.
Playmakers on playmakers, whether it be your, you know, big leg kicker Fannin Steele or Zaire Barrett or Ramon Gooden. San Antonio really showing their mark on the league, and every time you see any of their players involved in anything. I mean, I'm sure once we get former players becoming positional coaches, Matt McDonough is going to make a great defensive coordinator somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Just the powerhouse that San Antonio is.
I mean, correct me. Well, no, don't correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's actually calling the defensive plays. He's been calling them since season 3, around week 5. So he's already got about 2.5
making
years
his mark,
under his belt.
doing what Caleb Williams wishes he could do.
What he tries to do, and then loses to the Lions anyways.
Right.
A gain of 8 there. Wide receiver comebacks. Abatangelo, again, 16 for 20, 301 yards. A silent 301 yards. It's not silent, but in terms of how explosive it was, pretty silent. 4th and goal, and Fannin Steele now will come out. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's absolutely insane the fact that we have people on these rosters that really could potentially, I mean, forever live in the history of the league, you know?
Yeah, and
I mean,
make their mark in any way possible. I mean, you know, these are the playmakers. These are all the guys that change the tides of games, all collected on one field. And, you know, you see them make their marks on their team, but I'm sure as, you know, they get older, or even, like you said with McDonough currently, you know, you got these guys that are going to make their mark in season 23, not just season 5.
Absolutely. And as you said, with all those playmakers, I mean, that's how this game is close. I mean, you've got so many playmakers on the GFC side, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, the JFC is the best team ever devised in the history of the nation's league. Doesn't matter. It's still going to be a 3-point game. Even though Mark Jedden is 13 for 28, 192, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, it is still a close game. It is ridiculous how close it is.
It's the most Jameis Winston stat line I've ever seen.
Well, it'd be even more Jameis Winston if he perfects a perfect 50% completion rate with like 500 yards at the end of this.
Right.
So, and I have a feeling he will. So, the JFC now looking to end this right here, right now. The GFC did try a 4th and 2. There's a flag, a sack on Abatangelo, but there's holding, so that doesn't matter. So now the GFC is really hoping for a strip sack, fumble, interception, or at minimum a kick, but Marquise Collins just will not go down. That'll be a timeout for GFC. And of course, all they need is 7 yards, and Abatangelo naturally gaining 30 yards, but Collins will go, so it'll be a gain of 4 here. And shockingly enough, we're in the 2-minute warning. Not a single pass play yet.
We might see one here. Game on the line?
We will not.
You won't.
They'll call a timeout, and oh my goodness, this is how I know the JFC is going to choke again. Fannin Steele, again, perfect on the day. I doubt he gets another shot. 34-yard field goal, and all the GFC needs is a single touchdown.
And the extra point. Let's not forget the extra point.
Well, but they just need a touchdown
to
tie.
Will we ever see a team wearing blue in the Pro Bowl win in the NAGA? This drive decides.
Look, if the JFC loses, I'm voting that we change colors. I'm sick of watching the blue team lose. And I thought he was going to catch that.
That would have been insane.
My head was about to explode. I was like, the one time Jedden starts dotting people up again. And who else but Holloway, I bet. And And Jedden, I mean, wide open is an Omaha receiver, Stevens. And no timeouts here, so the clock will continue. Lonnie Reed subbing in. I believe that is from Albuquerque. Jetting back. 4-man rush. Oh, my goodness, B.J. Austin. And that was number 56, Jacob Frazier on the coverage.
Time still ticking. Less than 60.
Everybody knows my opinion about Frazier. No, scoop! Oh, my goodness.
Trey Leathers.
JFC win. Unlike the Portland playoff games.
And they're going to dunk on him again. What is this?
Oh.
No way.
31-17. The exclamation point. And I apologize. I didn't mean Portland. Unlike the Columbus game, Dre Leathers actually shows up in a big game.
Right. And he didn't waste any time doing the Dougie like those Sacramento players over there. He scooped it up and he ran that thing in for a touchdown. What a way for the JFC to. I mean, I bet the players could hear us in their helmets going, these blue teams, they can't win.
They're terrible. They suck.
Dre Leathers said, "Watch this, Cam Newton style."
I mean, look. For a 29-year-old man, that man hauled, all right? That man moved for a 29-year-old. He
needs a double knee replacement after that.
He's got to get a hip replacement. He's not done that in any big game of the playoffs. Just ask Devon Bronson.
It's like GFC's trying to make it look good, but I think they're going to have to spike it here if they want to get another playoff.
They will, and they'll have 1 second.
0.
Oh, no, they don't.
And that is quite a way to end the All-Star game. Wow.
Wow, that was... Oh, my goodness. I mean, GFC takes control in the first half, but then the JFC comes back, and they nearly choke it away, but the strip sack secures it. And Mark Jedden securing a respectable stat line, right? We're not going to look at the percentage. Don't look at that.
Yeah, we're going to cover that up. Cover that up.
261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 15.4 yards per attempt.
Yeah, nothing to sneer at with Mark Jedden. I mean, despite his 2 rush attempts, his yards were pretty positive. And of course, at the rushing here, Kamani Moore doing the best with what he's got alongside B.J. Austin, Matt Bard. The other running backs really made their mark, whether it was blocking or receiving. I know that we got B.J. Austin reception. I know Sheffield saw the field, but it looks like he didn't really record a stat. Same for Willis Jr.
I feel bad. Rashawn Holloway started 4 for 4, 92 and 2 touchdowns, and then proceeded to finish the game 4 for 11 and 1 drop. Now, again, he faced the greatest secondary you have ever seen in your life. A- was the lowest graded DB, by the way. That's just how great they were.
And I mean, the one drop was probably him touching it and then getting obliterated by,
just
Kyrell Trotter. Right.
Blowing up his, oh my God.
But respectable showing from both Omaha receivers. Obviously, you got Carson Draper making a legendary appearance. Isaiah Glover representing the Sentinels. Presley and Clemens. Good old Brooklyn old man duo. 33 and 29.
If Graham Hole got in there, Presley and Clemens would have put up 8 catches.
Whole lot more targets to the Brooklyn duo. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks from the GFC defense.
I think that ties. No, I think that's the most sacks ever in a game.
Ever.
Yeah, I think maybe. We'd have to go back to season 2,
with
San
only
Antonio.
5 defended passes, one of them from a defensive lineman, Antoine Marcies. Interesting.
That 30-year-old can get up. Right? That man, he put that hand up. He said, nope.
A lot of Albuquerque defensive linemen making plays, defended passes, forced fumbles, and
which, by the way, is a quick note. I never got to finish the list yet. It's incomplete. But Albuquerque had 38 sacks. It was only 3rd behind Baton Rouge so far with 40. And, of course, San Antonio with 49.
Wow.
So, yeah, that D-line 100% was showing up today.
The singular punt return from DeAndre McLeod, and no kick returns for Rashawn Holloway. Fan and Steele not letting him get the chance.
Yeah, he said absolutely not. I'm not letting my stats go to waste.
3 punts from Nordquist, averaging 50, and that's why he is the best punter. And Braun perfect on the day. And here we have the winning team. And honestly, I mean, I'd say this man's the MVP. I mean,
the 77% completion rate. I mean, the only other dude that's ever done better is Ryan Davis, and Gallagher, Davis, and Abatangelo are all 1A, 1B, and 1C. So.
And 300 yards on that defense, and you're getting obliterated 10 times. What a guy. What a guy.
I mean, this is Joe Burrow. He is Joe Burrow.
And the rush attempt for 5 yards. I mean,
he had to rub it in.
Right. What more could this man do for the team? Collins and Gooden doing their best they can against that defensive line. I mean, averaging 3.6 is like averaging 10 against that defensive line.
Oh my, it's just like that. You might as well have a semi-truck lane open in that comparison. I mean, my God.
Then the receivers here, of course.
Oh my God. 4 for 4, 89, 3 for 5. I mean, and the average.
The lowest averages are from running backs, right? And then, of course, you have a missed Jeremiah Brown target. And 2 sideline Mayer catches, but wow.
Yeah, this dude is Joe Burrow. I mean, my God. 27, 23 and a half, 23, 22. This man does not check down. I mean.
Nothing but just airmail the whole game.
Abatangelo would rather die on the field than do a check down. My God.
And it got them the victory. I mean, well, speaking of getting them the victory, the one thing he did all game.
Just like Columbus. They did one good thing all season. That's all that matters.
One singular thing. Only 5 sacks from the JFC. I mean, 2 from Grant, 2 from Geary, 1 from Fraser, but 2 interceptions.
We need to shout out. Oh my.
9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 defended passes.
And didn't he complete 13 of 38? Which means they literally deflected every other pass that man threw.
I think we got a record for sacks and a record for defended passes, especially as far as ratio of plays, like defended passes to total plays. Wow.
I mean, hey, Zaire Barrett, he might get the bag. I mean, if San Antonio doesn't retain him the next 2 seasons, that man might get the bag.
3 tackles, interception, 5 defended passes is the most insane stat line, and no surprises from Grant with 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss on his only 4 touches.
I might argue that Zaire Barrett might have been the defensive MVP. I mean, honestly, my God.
Wow.
I don't think you win if you don't deflect 5 of those passes that Rashawn Holloway was probably trying to catch.
Yeah, I was going to say the game got it wrong. It is not Leathers. I mean, shout out to his touchdown. But Zaire Barrett, 5 defended passes and an interception is insane. Wow. And
then Elijah Jennings had 4. He didn't even go off.
Right,
they were targeting. They went after Barrett, and then they didn't realize, Barrett's a Pro Bowl defensive back.
Right. Wow.
Real quick, before we pop off to the returns real quick, we need to shout out the offensive line for the GFC, as for some reason it flipped him back. So, left tackle, Jordan Cody, out of Delaware. Left guard, Patrick Engstrom from Virginia Beach. Center, Toby Enox from Omaha. Right guard, Justin Varela Cordero from Albuquerque. And right tackle, Thomas McCutcheon from Berkeley. I mean, the most
round
underrated,
of applause to these guys.
I mean, talk about fighting for your life and winning.
Just absolute masterclass, but clearly didn't matter because Jetton couldn't get past the Legion of Boom back here. Goodness.
Raleigh loved to brag about having
no-fly zone.
A no-fly zone, and this is the no-fly zone.
Right, literally setting records here. Of course, 2 returns for Barrett. 1 kick return from Walker, 18 yards.
And I believe that was the initial second half kickoff.
Right, yeah, the one kickoff. Fan and Steele, naturally. Marston, 3 punts. No P20s, but 53 average.
Oh my
Crazy
God.
average for the punts.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Get the little sum up here. Holloway, I agree on the offensive and defensive for the GFC. Obviously, we said Barrett's the defensive for the JFC. But what a performance all around.
Oh, my gosh.
And
I mean,
more to come, of course, in the Jugan Bowl and in Season 6. A lot of great stuff up ahead for the NAGA in general. And, of course, little league plug if you want to join. Links are in the description to the Discord. And if you want to just be a fan and keep watching, subscribe, click the bell, and, of course, get to sit back and enjoy the show with the rest of us. New season starting up here within the next month. So I'm excited. Any closing words from you, Mr. Cole?
I think this was the greatest Pro Bowl I've ever witnessed as a
Facts.
blue jersey fan, but also just in general. I think we're only going to get even greater next season. I think this next season is potentially the greatest season and the best opportunity to join. Lots of free agents. I think every season from here, it's just going to get better and better. I think this is a sign. I think if we have an incredible Jugan Bowl game, I think if it's a close game, I think it's just another sign that the future is bright. A lot of owners, a lot of great owners, and the talent on this field proves it right now. We have a league with genuine talent. Nobody is too OP. The team that had a 92% victory just had to get a last-second strip sack fumble recovery touchdown to put the game away. Otherwise, the GFC still would have gone and beaten the better team. So, I think this is one of the greatest Pro Bowls we've ever watched. It's a sign of how great the league is. Obviously, we have to shout out the commissioner. None of this would be possible without Pasta. And I really do think this is the best sim league, and I think it's going to exponentially jump. And I'm excited. I'm rooting for every owner and new owner to really take the reins next season. And yeah, I'm just genuinely excited, and I want to shout out Mr. Reed. Obviously, he is the reason why we have this co-commentary, and the reason why the commentary was actually good instead of me by myself and everyone muted the game. I want to shout out, obviously, Annex. He's also another amazing media member. Dino, obviously, uniforms in the field. And, of course, Mr. Pasta, the commissioner, for even making this day possible. Without him, me and E would not be here. And without him, I don't think we would see such amazing games and have such great experiences. So, yeah, that's all for me.
Wipe the universe. Pasta is created here. And, of course, shouting out all those people. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. So, we got a great league, bright future ahead, and a great Jugan Bowl and off-season subsequently coming up. So stay tuned for all that. But as far as today and this All-Star game, this has been Cole and Reed Option. And here at the NAGA, we will see you next time. Take care.